In the first video, we made a pumpkin. In the second video, we took two pumpkins and joined it with a third. And now for this final video, I'm going to show you how we're going to bring it all together and create a tube out of this for something really fun and maybe a little bit spooky. Hello and welcome to another video. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL. So here's the pumpkin one, and with this knot, it goes from being something flat to now it is a tube. Now, if you look at where the pumpkin is on the left-hand side, you can see that there was the one row that started before the pumpkin, and that is the row that we are continuing on. And by doing it this way, we are going to be able to line up the pumpkin that we're making in the space directly below it, so like they both are going to line up right. Now, as far as lining up with the one on the right hand side, that's relatively easy because the greens are going to pretty much dictate where that ends up. So as far as difficulty goes, yeah, that shouldn't be too hard at all. Now, there will be like two rows that go off to the left. So that kind of, again, that's not going to throw you off too much, again, because the green is going to have to be where the green actually is. So that's a relatively easy part. Something that is kind of a bit of a pain, perhaps, is the fact that now that it is a tube, I can't quite get the row to go all the way off as far as I might want to have taken it. And mind you, after this square, you end up with like bits where you could end up where the whole thing goes like two pumpkins wide or something, right? So, I mean, I'm not sure how to explain that properly, but kind of trying to do one diamond at a time is going to get a little bit trickier as this goes on. And mind you, because it's just the squares across as opposed to like, so basically a bag is technically easier than these tubes because you have more flat surface actually laying out on your clipboard. Does that make sense? So I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you imagine if we had added two more pumpkins to this whole thing would be a whole lot wider. That piece of shiny stuff that I have sitting there in the middle, that would have been wider. And that would have been easier. There would have been a lot more string involved, but it would have been a lot easier to have made. Taking this row out, I would be able to take it all the way to the very end without having to shift anything, without whatever, because it wouldn't, because this is only, I have to go halfway, and halfway on both sides, and it's a tube, seems theoretically possible, but in reality, you kind of have to shift things around. It gets a little ugly. So yeah, I don't know if that's incentive for you guys to want to do something bigger, then woohoo, I say go for it. You'll enjoy it. Bigger can be better. So, again, I was able to do a whole different face, and you'll see a whole different face made here. And that wasn't, that's not showing off or whatever. That's just kind of wanting to kind of break up. To me, doing the same things over and over and over is not fun. So what I like to try to do is to come up with variations and changes and whatnot. And I think it makes the piece a little bit more interesting. If somebody picks this thing up and they're going to see, I don't know how many faces, 10 or 12 or something on it when it's finished, and each one of them is different, I think that's going to be a little bit more entertaining than if it was the same face 10 times over or 12 times over. If you agree, go ahead and hit that like button. If you disagree, leave me a comment and tell me why you think doing the same face 12 times is so much cooler, because I'm open to suggestions. If you've got a legitimate beef with why it should be the same, I'd like to hear your viewpoint. So I'm open to your ideas there. Meanwhile, you can see, so I'm bringing out these rows. I'm not even sure that that's like all the way out, but you can kind of see what's going on here. By doing it in long straight rows, it's able to kind of maintain the shape a little bit better. Although these kind of patterns do get a little bit wonky, just because of the nature of, like now I'm going to do several going to the right as opposed to those long rows going up to the left. So yeah, it can get a little bent out of shape, and you're going to have to try to use your tension to help keep that in line a little bit better. But overall, if you look at when it's all finished, it's not too bad. The faces don't look all weird or distorted and stuff. Just some of the lines just have a little bit more wave to it than I might have wanted. Mind you, too, I can tell you another little insider secret. This is dark gray, not because black is the hardest color to work with, which is literally the truth. It's dark gray because there was no black at the store. Like I'm low on floss, so I actually had to go out to a store and buy like DMC floss, and they didn't have any black. Here it is. It's October, right? Who would not stock their store with black floss coming up towards October? I don't get it. Okay, mind you, again, yes, this is Singapore, and they're not as big on the whole Halloween thing. I think I talked about that in the first of this series. But, oh, look, bad knot. I had to untie one. I counted and realized, like, nope, one too many. So yeah, it's not as big of a thing here, but you would think that there's enough, foreigners like such as myself that, you would stock up enough. I don't know. I mean, they have like Halloween, like to make costumes and things. I don't know. Maybe there's a bracelet maker here in Singapore who uses more floss than I do, and they went in there and they just raided it. And in which case, who are you? Tell me who you are. I must know who buys more floss than I do. I just put in my order. I will have floss. I have even made sure that I have enough floss for next Halloween, because, when I purchase, I go a little stupid. So yeah, I have a big order coming. I'm so excited. I have no idea how long it'll take, but it's coming, and it's got some big projects that we worked out. I pulled out the 447, and yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. All right, so what do you guys think of this guy's eyes? This guy's eyes are sort of like almost like a T shape, which, I don't know. I was playing around with it on the graph paper, and I'm like, ooh, that looks kind of neat. I don't know, compared to the other guys. The other guys looked a little shifty. This guy looks kind of, I don't know, he's pretty cool. Anyways, what else can I tell you? Tubes, a little bit harder than a bag. You can do things with a tube that you can't do on a flat. See, the reason why I didn't do this on a flat is when it gets to the edge and the colors bounce back, wherever the green was and the green goes over a green, it has to be a green knot. And so you would end up with like a little weird triangle off on the side followed by a little orange triangle off on the side. It just doesn't work. But see, because we did this in a tube, we can go endlessly with these pumpkins until you basically run out of string. And at that point, you could always add more string if that was really your thing. But eventually, I think you'd have to stop, because what would you do? Because I don't think you could have an infinite bracelet. I don't think that's actually feasible. But still, yeah, right? I mean, this is totally doable. You could keep doing more and more and more. And I hope you see that. You're like, the way that they go in a direction. Oh, see there? I had to shift it because I didn't have the strings going all the way down to the edge. like I talked about, right? So it makes it a little bit more time consuming. It's a little bit more headache, but you know, those are the trade-offs, right? You know, of course, like I said, a bag, if you could have a whole lot more of these little pumpkins, that'd probably be a little bit easier at least. So, can you guess what next year's Halloween thing is going to be? Yeah, I've already got it figured out. I know what I'm doing. I had talked to the wife about the possibility, like, should I record that like early and just save it? Like, no. Any cool catchphrases or fun or new cameras or whatever, it'd be a whole lot more fun to have that stuff on hand. So that's not going to happen. You'll get the version then. So hopefully I'll take some notes or something so I make sure I don't screw it up. So yeah, definitely cool. I definitely really dig this one. It's I was really confused as to, like, do I put this down as advanced or intermediate? Because realistically, this feels a bit like it should be intermediate because you're really just kind of using left and right knots. And it's, you know, a little bit of graph paper and whatever. You can be done with this in no time. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. Is this really all that difficult? Has any of you actually tried it? And, you know, how would you rate it? I'm going to have to say, I think this is intermediate. You know, this is not too hard. So here comes my last little row, comes across, and then, yeah, I mean, this is some fun stuff. Hopefully you appreciate it. Hopefully you have subscribed already. If not, I would ask that you please subscribe to my channel. I look at those numbers all the time. It means the world to me. So, all right. Okay, so here we have it. Now let me just can I work the zoom? There we go. All right, there is his happy little face. I love how the little tooth thing seems to be like, I don't know, just kind of dorky. And here you have it as a tube. Now, I have no idea what I'm going to use this for. And I think while I kind of come up with that decision, because look, this is how much string I have left. There's a lot here, right? I don't know if you can see that. Wait, let me zoom out. So there's a lot of string. This is the cardboard I was using. But yeah, there's a lot of string left here. So I could probably, because, okay, mind you, it's thin knots, right? So I could probably go quite a bit longer. I just don't know what I'm going to do with it, right? I mean, Halloween's really not a thing here in Singapore, so maybe I'll play around with it here and there. I think what I really want to do is get on to the rainbow bag that is my giveaway. That's what's got me most excited. And I find that if I work on the thing that I'm most excited about, it's just kind of easier for me. So I don't shelve projects. This is not the typical me, but I think we both really want to see that get underway. So, maybe I'll just finish it here. I mean, it feels bad to waste that much string, but I could kind of seal that off. I don't certainly holds the amount of candy I should have, considering I need a diet, but whatever, man. There it is. I hope this was informative. I hope it was worth having 3 videos to show you, kind of breaking it down as to how to put this together, and that if you enjoy it, please hit a like button. If there's things you want to see, leave it in the comment. And until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.